Hello, welcome to Waikato Sheds. My name is Shane and today I want to go through our shed plans with you so that when you start building your kit set shed, you know what's in the plans and all the little places to look for to find the right sort of detail. So should we jump on over to the computer and we'll just go through it page by page. Okay, so let's just start at page 1 and we'll work our way through the pages. First up we have the slab plan off to the left and the member layout on the right. So we'll dive into a bit more detail about the slab plan in a separate video, but just to give you a bit of a rundown, it basically just shows you a few of the basics when it comes to the slab. So you'll focus a lot on this when you're preparing your slab, when you're boxing up and digging your footings and that type of thing. And it basically shows your bay widths and that type of thing, your overall slab size. These hatch lines show where your rebates are. These circles are where your footings. Dash line is a saw cut, that type of thing. But as I say, we'll get into that in a separate video. We'll come across to this side. This is your member layout. So this is showing you these C1s and C2s. Now this relates to this little member legend here. The C2 is a C219, C1 a C215. So it's basically just telling you what material your columns are. Essentially that's what that's telling you. So it's a good little quick reference. Check out that member legend and then you're going to see what material is going into which of these spaces. Another thing that it's showing you is this dashed line that's showing your cross bracing in your roof. So when you get to that point when you're putting your cross bracing in, refer to this and make sure you've got crosses wherever it's telling you to put them. Another thing it's telling you, it's 1, 2 and 3. Now this is relating to things like your roller doors and you can see this 4 and this 5 here. That's where it's relating to your PA doors. So that is that. What you'll also see is I've written here vermin lengths. And that is just so that when you're getting material on site, it's obviously going to be a big pile of things with all these different varying measurements. So that's really just showing you what we've ordered and whereabouts on the building those are going. So you'll see that we've kind of drawn all over this and that's purely just to help show you where some of that material is going to go. If we carry on down just the bottom here, zoom in on this bit here, there's a few extra notes. Your roof strap bracing to be connected to the purlin closest to the line of the Endwall mullion. Just read through those notes and make sure that those all make sense in relation to what material goes where. That probably does it for the first page, I reckon, and as I say, we'll come back to the concrete detail. Moving on, next page. Now this is really the main page. This is the page you're going to spend a lot of time on, and it sort of obviously shows the 4 different elevations of your shed. And again, I've marked and highlighted where some of these parts are. So we'll just do one elevation at a time. This is your sidewall exterior elevation. So that's an important note, is this is an exterior elevation. So we're looking at the building from the outside, looking in. So you can see here I've highlighted green is for wall girts. Now anything highlighted green is in relation to wall girts, and that's showing you that for these two here, there's going to be 2 lengths in your pack at 800. Again, working down, you got 2 at 1.6, 2 at 1.6, 2 at 1.8. Nice and simple. And the way we set up our roller door jambs, we've got one that needs to run along the top of your roller doors, and we've got 3 at 2.7 for each of those doors. Another thing that we'll supply you with is a whole bunch of photos, and if any of this doesn't make sense, there will almost certainly be a photo that you can look at, or multiple photos that you can look at, which will help clarify what those things are. Another thing here, 12 MFA 150s. An MFA is just a really simple right angle bracket, and we can use it in multiple different places in the building. So it's really just showing you we've got 12 in this side, and I'm showing you whereabouts those go in the building. Again, there'll definitely be photos that show that. Roof purlins, just showing you how many in the building and whereabouts. 20 at 4.4 for the end bays, 10 at 4.8 in the middle bay. Pretty simple. Once you get the hang of that, you'll be away. Moving on along, another exterior elevation showing you the girts, and it's also showing you how many sidewall sheets and how long they are. So you'll be able to refer to this and then refer to your bill of materials. But we'll move on to the bill of materials once we get through these plans. Down here, so what you'll notice here is we've got an Endwall interior elevation. So this is looking at the building as if you're standing on the inside looking out. So that's important to understand that this is looking from the inside. Again, 8 at 4-1, nice and simple. You've got 8 top hats, 8 girts in this wall, and they're all 4-1. Again, 4 MFAs showing you whereabouts they are. You'll see that we're using them where a girt meets the rafter. As I said, we can use MFAs in multiple different parts of the building, and we're also using it to mount the top of your mullion. A mullion fixing angle, that's exactly what it's for, top of your mullion. And also, again, some strap bracing there, so make sure you're putting your strap bracing in before you finish your building. That's adding important strength to your building. Moving along, now this is going to be very similar, almost identical, well actually it is identical to the other end wall. Interior elevation, same as. Another thing that I want to point out is these things here, B5, C5, DK2. What that's referring to is a detail. What you'll see is detail B on page 5, detail C on page 5. So just if you're ever confused or you want to see something in a bit more detail, refer to these circles and then go to that particular page, that particular detail, and that will help clarify that particular connection. A couple of notes down the bottom here, X bracing is required in 1 side bay and 2 end bays. So you've got 1 end bay, 2 end bays, and then 1 side bay just here. So keep an eye on those notes for anything else that you might miss. That's probably it for that page. We'll keep on moving. Now this is just a bit more of a cross section of your frame, an internal frame. This is showing your knee braces, your apex braces, and it's also showing you your spacings for your purlins. So that's kind of doing the work for you. It's telling you exactly where you need to position your roof purlins. Up here, risk factor, this is all sort of calculations and things that you won't need to spend too much time focusing on. That's all sort of the technical stuff, not required when you're building your shed, so you can just kind of move on past that. We'll keep on moving, page 4. Now we've got some footing detail. So this is another page you'll need to focus on when you're doing your slab. We won't focus on it too much at the moment. Just the footings, different areas of your building, saw cuts, that type of thing. So watch the reading your concrete plans video for a bit more detail about that. Yeah, that's probably it. So you got this schedule of openings here, down the bottom here. Now just be careful of this. What you'll see on the other page is we would have written your roller door sizes on the plan. Focus on what we've written in there, and also don't focus too much on these joinery openings. If you've got joinery in your shed, we'll supply you with a joinery schedule, which is what has been ordered. So make sure you're focusing on the joinery schedule, not on the schedule of openings. All right, we'll keep on moving. Page 5. Now, you would have remembered on that page 2 when it sort of had some circles showing some different details. This is the page where it will be showing. So I recall B5 being one of them. That's showing your apex connection. So you can sort of check here for a bit of detail. Haunch connection, you got your mullion connection with those MFAs that we've put in there. So check in here for anything where you're just wanting to see a little bit more detail. But also be in mind that these plans can be quite generic. So there might be some detail in here that doesn't necessarily relate to your shed. So just be wary of that. And if you're confused about anything, just get in touch with us and we can clarify some things. But yeah, page 5, really good for just seeing things in a little bit more detail. Off to the side here is a really good table, the member and material schedule. This is going to really break down your whole building and the different bits of material in your shed. So you remember on page 5, the member legend told you about these columns, C1s and C2s. What this member material schedule does is it tells you about more than just the columns. So it's telling you what your rafters are, single, 215s. Sometimes you might have doubles, so they're back-to-back columns. And in that case, it would be a double C215. It tells you about your knee braces. It's telling you how long they are, how many bolts on each end, how far up the column and how far up the rafter you are to get that right angle. Eve purlins, Eve purlin bracket 0mm from top of column. Now you also want to be careful of that and use a straight edge when you're setting up your Eve purlin. Run along the top of your purlins and make sure that Eve purlin is in the right location. So yeah, check this is a really good table. If you're confused about what goes where, this is really going to be a table that will help clarify all of that type of thing for you. That probably does it for page 5, so we'll keep pushing on. Page 6, flashing detail. Now we would have supplied you with a flashing order form. Those are the flashings that we like to order. Again, these can be quite generic and we like to do things a little bit better than this. So focus more on the flashing order forms that we've provided, and again, get in touch if you have any questions. We'll be able to point you in the right direction. Page 7, that's what your shed's going to look like when it's all finished. Just really showing you the finished product. So there's probably not a whole lot of detail to be captured here while you're building your shed. And the very last page is the bolt layout plan. So this can be very helpful. It will show you kind of just how the portals will get laid out when they're finished. So when you're setting up your portals and you're wanting to just make sure you're on the right track, you'll see that these portals are set in from the side to allow for your top hat. So that's why you've got your gap. Your end wall girts sit inside your end columns, so that's why they're right on the edge. So pay attention to this page when you are really setting up your slab on those first few days when you're building portals and wanting to stand them up. You'll see this detail over here. This is kind of giving you locations of those base cleats. Yeah, I would probably not go and drill your holes before you've stood portals. I would be bolting those base cleats to your portal and then standing them up and then drilling your holes. It's just going to give you a bit more tolerance and a bit more room for adjustment. So you can look at this, but I wouldn't recommend drilling any holes before you've stood your portal. That probably does it for the plans, but that is just one part of it. What I also want to talk to you about is your bill of materials. We call it a BOM. This is a breakdown of every piece of material in your shed. So when you're reading your plans, you can also refer to your bill of materials, and that's going to help clarify a few things. And this is starting with your brackets. It just lists out all the brackets. You can see our mullion brackets and things in there, your doors, your sheeting, ridge caps, gutters, the lot. So just another little piece of advice is to really focus on your bill of materials when you're working on your building, so you can just be allocating the right piece of material for the right part of the building. I think that probably does it. Yeah, as I say, it's fairly simple. They're quite simple plans, but knowing where to look is very crucial to making your build nice and smooth. They can be generic, so just be aware of that. And if you're confused about anything, make sure you get in touch with us and we will definitely help you out.